can go into proper. All right, so let's call the meeting to order at 4:04 p.m. Eastern time. And then roll call. You're doing that, Sarah?
I can do that. Chris Vaccaro,
Here.
Nicole DeCristio,
Here.
Jennifer Ellis,
Here.
Paul Garcia,
Here.
Trisha Gallagher Newberry,
Here.
Stephanie Overman,
Here.
Ernest Owens,
Here.
Michelle Watson.
Here.
We are all here, Chris.
All right. Yeah, awesome. Good to see everybody. And I'll start with happy holidays, and of course, we'll end with that as well. But another meeting, I think there's been really great work, which we'll talk about throughout this call. But let's just keep going through the agenda. And next item is the approval of minutes from the November meeting. So is there a motion to approve those minutes before we discuss anything?
Motion to approve.
And a second?
Second.
Seconded.
Any discussions on the minutes? Anybody have any notes to share that we may have to adjust or anything?
This was very small, but I believe the finance committee was meeting monthly and the minutes say quarterly.
Okay. Happy to have that adjusted. We could still approve the minutes with that adjustment being made after the fact, right?
Sure.
Okay, so all in favor with the motion on the table?
Aye. Aye.
Okay. Motion passes to approve the minutes from November. On my president's report, a lot of groundwork being laid, right? I'm always so happy with Caroline and the staff and everything that's going on to just push different things forward. And there's so many balls up in the air in a very good, positive way because the groundwork being done to end 2025 is going to set us up for what I believe is a successful 2026. And the committees are starting to really formulate a lot of ideas and make some things happen. Obviously, on the last board meeting, if you were, I would say, lucky to be on the call, because I think it was a really good discussion, we had the ethics committee present. And they're off and running. They've been meeting. They've shared committee update notes that are available in that public folder on the website and such. So you can see some of the early discussions that have happened. They have a video of their first committee meeting as well. Like just awesome transparency. But even beyond that, it's just really good, creative, respectful discussion. So there's a lot more to come there. They're very early. Like I just applaud the effort of organization and then communication and the logistics and the operations. They're taking it very seriously, and they're doing it on their own. We obviously as a board gave them the charge to go and do it, but like just so happy with seeing the discussion happening, regardless of whatever the outcomes are. By the end of next year. So the ethics committee is off and running. There's really good to just please look at the public folder that's available for the committee notes. I'm not going to, refer to every single thing that's being done because there's so much great work being done. But, I'll call out the most important things and also things that I definitely find interesting or that have the most sort of teeth in them so far. I'm really excited about that Press for Education program. It has been, in existence for several years, but to revamp it, update some of the content and the resources, and Jess Bravosky, the chair of the Journalism Education Committee, has been just wanting to get into and dive into all of it and build a list of people to get involved and who's going to help submit content and who's going to sign up for certain areas to help with the project. So we had a really good logistical call with Jennifer and Caroline and the staff at Nadia, I believe, and just talking out what the process is. And it's really just a matter of communicating the goals to the members and seeing who wants to be involved beyond the committee, but people who will actually help submit content that will be used as part of Press for Education, people in their specialties and their areas that they work in. And so there's a lot more to share. But obviously, I was just happy with that. I wanted to get that meeting on the books in 2025, knowing that there's really good stuff to basically start with in January. So expect more communication from SPJ HQ and all the different communication channels that we have. And if you want to be involved in Press for Education, by all means, reach out. There'll be mechanisms to do that. So more to come on that. I'm just looking at the notes here real quick before just in case it's on the that topic. Okay, yeah, good stuff there, Michelle. The Other notes, just in terms of my report, there's a mad dash to, finalize hopefully a national conference, to bring a leadership institute back, and to have some really key partnerships nationally. I won't steal any thunder from Caroline's update, but just really great communication, really good external communication as much as I've seen internal. And I'm excited about some of the things that we'll start to tease, and some of the things that may even be just an idea right now, but the conversations have now been, 4 times, 5 times getting on calls with certain people and getting to where we hope to be. So I don't have any like major notes or breaking news that I'm going to share, but it's happening. I see a lot of, and I'm a part of a lot of great conversations. Also, and including, as you'll hear from Sarah, the budget and the finances and everything from a financial perspective. And many, many people on this call were part of the finance committee call this week. The conversations are good. They're meaningful. They're impactful. Everyone's respectful and on the same page. Like, what more could you ask for outside of also pushing the organization forward? And again, I'm not going to steal thunder from Caroline. I've seen the membership numbers. Things are tracking properly, positively in the right direction, and yet even more than the last meeting that we had. That has to be the trend every time. So, I'll let her share those notes. But from my perspective and my report, I'm very pleased with what I'm seeing, and really proud of the work that is being done. And on the advocacy front, Frank Lamonti will have much more to share from that committee. There's a lot of tangible things that they're going to have. But I hope you've seen the notes, the statements, the quick reaction to things that have happened. And some people would say, "Oh, another statement." No, there are certain things that we have to have statements about. There are certain things that we need to stand up for. And I was really happy to have everyone from Jennifer to Caroline help with that note that we sent to the White House and the press secretary. And whether they reply or not, well, hey, we're ready to meet. We're ready to help. We're ready to be, positive leaders in this space to just get everyone on the same page. And, some of those things are tall tasks, but we need to keep our voices loud and respectful and do the right thing. So, on the programming front, Adam Sennett will hopefully jump on the call at some point, and we'll have him as a piece of our agenda. If not, when we get to that piece, is he? Okay, good. So I don't want to steal any of his notes too, but it's just incredible work from Adam and the programming committee. So we'll hear more from him when that comes up on the agenda. And then, again, thank you for everybody that is hustling and making it happen, and all the volunteers, but also the staffers. And, I know we talk about resources, and, there's only a few people doing a lot of work, and it's a national organization with thousands of members. We have to put that in context. And yet still, I'm bullish on 2026. And so we end this year on a very positive note. So my report is just, you know me at this point, I'm pretty glass half full. My wife would be like, totally not, you're not glass half full in the house, but everything else outside of here, like totally optimistic, right? Like, I don't know, I got to figure out how to adjust those emotions and that lever, but I appreciate all of you putting in the work to make this happen. And that brings us to, again, I hope another positive story with Sarah and the treasurer's report.
Thanks, Chris. Well, thank you for that overview. That's really all very heartening. I just want to add a quick note on a committee that didn't make it into the folder. I'll make sure it gets in there after this meeting, which is the First Amendment Forever Fund. I know folks have been very eager to hear the status on that. So I'm just going to provide a very brief summary. Also want to express appreciation to Jennifer, Alice, and Laura Garcia, who are part of that committee. We had our first meeting a couple weeks ago. There are several other folks on it, and reviewed a proposal that Caroline Hendry's been working on with others to potentially, for a new vision for the fund that potentially shifts the focus from national projects only to include regional and chapter proposals. So the next step on that is that we are reviewing the proposal. We're going to reconvene in January to formally decide on whether to make the shift. We'll review and adjust the rubric and make a clear plan for the fund for 2026, which we will communicate to the members. So just wanted to give y'all a verbal update on that because it is a really important development. That fund had been sort of dormant for a while we got our finances stabilized, and we're very excited to be moving forward. Okay, so jumping into the finance report, to close out 2025, the Finance Committee has met twice. First time was immediately following Media Fest, and the second time was yesterday. During these sessions, we reviewed SPJ's 2025 budget projections and actuals, as well as the projected budget for 2026. And we reviewed the preliminary Media Fest 2025 financials. As Caroline Hendry rightly indicates in her executive director report, finances at SPJ are one of two ongoing emergency level issues at SPJ. The other, which is closely interlinked, is membership. The story that you see, since you've all reviewed those finances included in the packet, the story behind those numbers, behind the 2025 budget and the 2026 forecast, as well as those MediaFest financials, is the story of a SPJ leadership and board laser focused on both of those emergency level issues. All indicate a positive outcome. What does that mean? What that means very simply is forward momentum that is an improvement over where we were. Okay, so we're moving in the right direction. We still have work to do, but we're on the right track. So what does that mean? That means that for the coming year, the Finance Committee will meet monthly. Thank you, Patty, for correcting that in the minutes. We'll meet monthly with the following priorities: continued oversight of the overall SPJ budget, and in particular, the budget for the 2026 conference, which is a significant chunk of both expenditures and revenue generation opportunity. Supporting further development and implementation of a diversified revenue generation strategy. A review of the Memorandum of Understanding with the Foundation, which expires at the end of 2027, as well as recommendations for a path forward. Continued transparency with the SPJ membership around society finances. So those are the areas that we'll be focusing on in the year ahead. We started touching on them yesterday, in addition to a really good conversation about the budget. Many of the folks, I think everyone who was in that committee meeting yesterday is here today as well, along with staff, Caroline and Jennifer, and can answer questions. After good discussion yesterday, the Finance Committee recommends board approval of the 2026 budget. Now back to you, Chris.
All right, thank you, appreciate it. We have a section. This is a great positive thing, but we have a section on regional and chapter actions. So the first is to discuss and vote on a Greater Houston Pro chapter, to add them as a chapter, right? And then there's also a discussion and vote on appointing a new regional coordinator for Region 1 in the Northeast, because Michelle Watson is now on the board and is giving up the RC role to focus on this bigger national role. So we could what do you got there?
Before we move to that, do we need to take action on the budget? Do we need a board vote?
Oh, yes, you might. That's right. I just went to the next item, and yeah, so we do have to have a vote and also discussion on the budget. So let's open that up. Is there any discussion related to the budget, the documents, 2026 finances that the board wants to go through? Okay, or I can make a motion and that we could discuss after that.
I have to make a motion first.
So So I need a motion to approve the 2026 budget.
I will move.
Uh,
I will second Jennifer's Ellis's.
Okay, so Jennifer with the motion and Patty with the second. Now discussion on the budget. Yes, Patty.
I just I want to applaud everybody who put the work into the budget. I think it's a conservative, realistic document. And I would just ask that when we start, after Caroline talks and reviews her report, that we hone in on the impact of a conference, both on the revenue and the expense side for 2026. I think we did great in 2025 in monitoring and staying within our budget expectations. And we asked that question yesterday at the Finance Committee, but I think the whole board should be up to speed on what the expectations are for 2026 conference. Thank you.
Thank you, Patty.
Yeah, I want to also jump in here and say that another question that I raised yesterday, and I think we should all be cognizant of this, is the capacity of staff. As folks know, we have a tiny staff. Chris, you alluded to this in your opening remarks, and a remarkable contingent of very willing volunteers, of which this board is entirely comprised of those folks, and also the folks who are here as SPJ members. But we do count on staff for a lot, and I am very aware of the fact that they're pretty well overextended and have been putting in more than their share of work. And I just want to make sure that as we look at the diversification of revenue streams, we really have an eye toward what can we generate that can be sustainable over time, so that we can ensure that the core staff has sufficient capacity to carry the load that the organization requires in order to be run properly. I just have so much gratitude for all that they've taken on, which is, an inordinate amount. So again, it is within the purview of the finance committee to the degree that when we talk about finance strategy, we really want to think about sustainable revenue sources, because taking on additional staff requires sustained revenue. And so I just wanted to add that into the mix as well.
Thanks, Sarah. Anybody else from the board?
I do have a question about the salaries. It looks like it's only up about $7,000, but we had already hired the press freedom strategist. Are we able to get this program specialist in with just this $7,000? I mean, I guess
No.
Rod's position is gone. Rod's position is gone. So yeah, I'm just curious.
Sure, yeah. So right now, our Anne Marie Tamburo is our press freedom strategist. She was brought on as a contractor to the end of this month, right? After we had the turnover in the summer, we wanted to take the time to kind of assess our capacity needs and gaps. And, we first had a departure of Rod, and then shortly thereafter, Kim left. So we had 2 openings. At that point in time, we needed to fill a really pressing, urgent capacity gap with the Google News Initiative program that we were in the midst of, running. And Rod had been the point person on staff for that. So we brought on 2 contract employees, one being the press freedom strategist and the other being Vix Ritano, who helped us run the Google News Initiative program through the rest of the year. So now we're looking into, we're doing a new budget, new calendar year. And so what this budget calls for is bringing on the press freedom strategist as a full-time employee. And then the other position that it calls for is bringing on a program specialist, hopefully in February. I hope that answers the question, or maybe it raises others. I don't know. But and so, when we look at the whole personnel budget, you should think of it in terms of contractors and staffers. We do rely on a mix of kind of on-staff people and contractors who are very vital to the day-to-day operations of the organization. Some of the contractors, right? So, so those are both important lines in the personnel. It's not just who's a staffer and who's a contract employee, because the contract employers are very important as well.
Yeah, and the programming specialist, obviously, as we talk about All Leadership Institute and national conference, all the ideas and execution that Adam wants to do, having support internally is going to help facilitate and be, a product program manager as much as anything else. There's so much logistics. And every time I say, hey, I want more national programming, we got to do more. Well, the caveat is always, we'll look to do it in a proper way in 2026. It's not going to magically happen with, existing resources. And that was never the case. The case is always, let's build towards it.
Good
So,
point. And I'll also say, with the structure that we have at SPJ, there's the society and then there's the foundation, and there's not staff for, separate for both organizations. There's a lot of work that gets done for, programs that sit under the foundation kind of bucket or under their rubric. So there's things in the works also that would be very much advancing the mission of SPJ, that the staff has to execute on. So we just to underscore the point Sarah made, it's not just the society programs, it's also the foundation programs, right? So we really do need more. We need more help than we've got. We have quite a few capacity gaps, but as Sarah says, it's extremely important to live within our means as well. So we're trying to do both, and we're trying to look ahead and say, well, if we bring in more capacity, what's the revenue that we think we can grow along with that new capacity?
right.
Yeah.
And revenue through memberships, sponsorships,
Right.
awards. There are streams here that do exist. It's a matter of facilitating, and the use of a program specialist can help by creating programs. There could be programs that, it may cost something, or there could be an element of sponsorship associated with it, which is critical. So,
right. So exactly, if we're doing more, there's more that we could potentially get financial support for. But again, it's a little bit of a chicken and an egg issue when you have low capacity in terms of staff. Who's going to be going out and trying to, get that revenue? This is exactly what I'm thrilled to have, a really great finance committee who is very eager to say, you figure that out. We'll be partners with you as we look ahead. These are structural challenges that didn't happen overnight, and they won't get solved overnight. But I think we have got a lot of positive momentum.
there was one question in the comments from Bob Becker. Any thought to live SDX Awards event in 2026? Maybe, potentially, and maybe that's a mechanism of revenue. Maybe that's part of the programming calendar. I'm all about more of those opportunities to get together, celebrate each other, and network. So possibly, something to consider for sure. As we, it's funny. It's like, is that an event? Is that a topic for just an event part of the agenda? No, like you can make revenue off of it. Every event is a potential revenue maker. Yeah. So that's how we have to look at it as a business. So
yeah, that's true. And I will say, right now, I don't think we would have that this fall, or this spring. But what I love the idea, and I've been pushing this, Jennifer can attest to this, that this comes up in staff meetings and regularly. I really want the convention to showcase awards finalists and winners. I think it's a fantastic opportunity to integrate them into the program. Journalists love to hear how I did the story. Those kinds of sessions are extremely popular. So I know that this is not any new idea, but I just feel like, especially because we do not have a kind of regular awards gala, the idea of integrating our awards honorees in the programming, I think, is just kind of low-hanging fruit. And I'm hoping that we'll do a lot more of that this fall.
Great. So all good ideas. So there was a motion and there was a second. Is there any further discussion on the budget before we take a vote? Going once. Okay, we got Laura.
And I don't know if you're already going to discuss this, Caroline, later, but we're making some changes to the stipends or the amounts that we're giving to RCs, or how's that changing?
Right. Well, as you know, that a few years ago, the stipends were larger than they are now for our hardworking volunteers. That's both the RCs and board officers and directors. So we're trying to take a big step toward restoring some of the purchasing power of those modest stipends. And we're trying to do that across the board, basically, restoring them to kind of restoring about 50% of getting us to where we were. So, that's what we're looking to do.
What's the amount?
Well, hold on a sec. I'll get you the exact figure. Sorry. So let's see. Yeah. So the amounts are for regional coordinators. We are increasing those to 1,125, and for at-large directors, we're also increasing those to 1,125, so 1,125. So it goes a little farther to help cover some of the expenses. And you'll see in the board policy manual, it's really supposed to be focused on travel for SPJ purposes, right? So it's not just like a slush fund to use for anything. It's specifically to try to underwrite those travel expenses. We really want in-person participation and community building. So this is not just we're doing it because we think it's a great idea, which we do, but it's because it's in service of our strategic priorities, one of which is community building. And it's hard for people when the purchasing power keeps getting eroded. And so that's the thinking.
Well, I love that. I just wanted to express support for that. I couldn't find the actual amount.
Right. Well, that's because it wasn't out there. So you asked, I'm glad you did. Any more in the weeds questions, I am happy to answer. So it might take me a minute. I got to look it up, but.
I just wanted to thank Laura for the question. And also, my understanding, Caroline, is that there will be information coming out once this is all finalized and approved, that information will be shared with the membership about those changes, including that increase to the regional coordinators, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we don't want to get ahead of ourselves before the board has adopted the budget. So that's part of it, right?
Sure.
But your point is really well taken. This is the time to ask these questions.
Okay, so we can update the handbook or whatever. Okay.
Yeah, the handbook, I think, still has
the old ones,
which is a source of confusion. And that's a good point. We just do need to update that.
Okay.
And
no, that would be great. I know, just as a note, I was RC of Texas and Oklahoma, and I mean, it's just the travel alone.
Oh yeah. Yep. Absolutely.
Any other comments, questions about the budget, Jennifer?
So also in the additional highlights area, it says the grant from Google is not included in the budget and the Google program will not be renewed. Can you speak more to that?
Yeah, absolutely.
No, it's not happening, or we're still working on it.
No, it's not. It has nothing to do with us. They told us, we were hounding them over and over and over, we want to get, and we want to talk about a renewal. And it turns out they're doing they had a global strategy review, and they're moving away from the train the trainer model, which was our model. They are only going to in-house trainers. So and they made a big point of saying this, nothing against you guys, the performance, we've we've well exceeded our performance indicators. We're wrapping the program up right now, in fact. And we really exceeded our goals, but they are just eliminating the model of providing grants to organizations to do their own training. They said they really want to work with us and provide trainers to us so we could still do training. At, say, the national conference, they can send a trainer, but we won't get any funding for that. And so that it's a total strategy shift on their part, not we would definitely pursue it. And we were grateful to get it. And they want to go a different direction. So, yeah. And you know, I'm grateful in that we did hire a program manager for that just on a contract basis, part-time contract basis through the end of this month. And that turned out to be perfect because we love working with her. We'd work with her again on different projects if they come up. But you know, the grant's ending. So yeah, it's a disappointment. I immediately, of course, said, you know, we really hope you'll provide a sponsorship again next year. They were the biggest sponsor of Media Fest 25, as you know. I made that very much a part of the grant that I wrote for them, and put in scholarships for both the regions and the national conference. I asked about that, you know, hey, yeah, we're thrilled that you would come and provide training at the conferences. Would you consider scholarships to ensure that journalists can participate? And no, we're not going to consider that. Now, the sponsorship, they've kind of said, oh, they'll inquire about it. It's not us that do it, you know, and yeah, so we're going to continue to pursue that. Any opening that we can find, we will pursue. But you know, this is not in our hands. And again, we hit all our goals. And it's just they are going in a different direction. So
that's one of those like reminders that we can't always rely on things that were seemingly good, but we liked them, and things run out and things change. And with one door that's closing, we'll find something else. Maybe there's somebody else that'll step up and provide that similar type of grants. We just got to be hungry and be out there looking for it. And at the same time, thank them for what they were able to provide when they did. That program was off and on in a lot of ways for, I don't know, about a decade. I was actually one of the original SPJ Google trainers when they first rolled it out. I don't even know when that was at this point, maybe 2015. I don't even know.
That's exactly right. And Vix, the gal who, you know, ran it for us after Rod left, was in that initial cohort.
Yeah.
10 years ago. So we were, she was very disappointed, but again, she's great. And so but it's, you know, it was also a legacy program that gave us good support this year. I'm very grateful for it. I'd love to be able to get some external support for some of the other priorities that we have. You know, advocacy, ethics, chief among them, right? You know, anyway, I could talk on and on about that, but
Well, and we're excited because you have been doing the groundwork, and you know that there are potential things that are, you know, on the back burner that could soon be front burner. And hopefully you'll be able to share a lot about that when it all comes to fruition. But that's because you're putting in a lot of hard work on the back end to find these opportunities, and we appreciate that.
Thank
you. Jennifer.
One other question. I have two other questions, actually. Media Fest on here is still very under budget. Where are we with getting that all finalized?
I'll speak to that unless Sarah want to. What do you mean under budget? I'm not sure what you're talking about.
It says that we spent $67,898.
Okay. So this is a little bit of a confusing chart that that you're talking about. So we our forecast for what we expect. We are working with ACP and CMA, as you know, under the joint operating agreement that was signed earlier in the spring. They have 90 days to reconcile the books. So just be aware of that. It's only been like 60 days since the end, right? So, but we just this week we've been communicating assertively with them about all this. And we're very grateful that they met with our controller, met with their accountants this week. She's very confident that the outstanding amounts that need to be collected will be collected. They may be even better, but we're taking a conservative estimate And at this point, we're very confident that there will be a significant surplus. We will have taken in very significantly more revenue than expenditures. Yeah, so we're not behind at all, really. That's misleading if it seems that way. It is wonderful, Laura. I agree. It's good that we're able to come away with this having been a source of revenue for us. Because again, speaking to that idea of diversified revenue streams that both Sarah and Chris spoke to just now, it's very important for us to figure out sustainable sources of revenue from multiple streams. And if we can, in this post-pandemic world, find our way to actually accruing revenue from the in-person events on a regular basis, and it can be a value, that's great. Back in the day, it always was, but it hasn't been in recent years for a lot of people, not just SPJ. So it's a real challenge. But I think we are, this is good. This is putting us and then this year will be another big challenge, but we're going to do our very best to have it deliver revenue for the organization, because we don't have that many sources of revenue, and this is a very good one if we can make it work. Yeah.
Did you have one other question, Jennifer?
The other thing was it seems very trivial compared to the rest of the budget, but there's this contributions line that's only like $2,000 ish.
Right.
Is that so? I know that we used to have the SPJ Foundation, when you're making a donation, and then there was also like a SPJ operating fund that you could donate. Is that what that is? And I don't even see that on our website anymore. There's only the LDF, the First Amendment Forever Fund, and the foundation.
Yeah. I think that the foundation is getting most of the contributions, partly because it's tax deductible for people. And the society side is not. I think, I am very hopeful that with a reboot of the First Amendment Forever Fund, and you are on that committee, and that's part of the plan, as you know, from having seen the proposal, that we really think that would provide we want to make a very strong case to people that you need to be donating to this membership organization. It's a 501c6. We can stand up and fight in a way for our members, kind of an unbridled way. And we really want to build up that fund to ensure that we can distribute funds to our chapters, to really bring the defense of journalism at the local level, to the communities where it needs to happen. And so I'm hopeful that we can do a really good fundraising pitch that will bring funds into that. But, it's been kind of on hold for a while. And, so I think there'll be a real marketing opportunity. The Legal Defense Fund is just, it's on there, and it's just not getting that many donations. I think that I've talked to the leadership about a different approach there. Again, that's also something that's kind of being talked about right now, about how we, directions we might take for that part of our work. But yeah, the society is not attracting a lot of donations. But they're going more to the foundation.
All right. Great questions and good discussion. And if there's anything else, please speak up and we will hear you out. Patty.
Sarah, could you remind us when we'll have the final numbers from Media Fest just so folks will know what those numbers are. When do we expect to have those?
Well, I think Caroline mentioned that our two partner entities in MediaFest have 90 days from close of event to provide those final financials. And I think we're still a month out from that. So reasonably, and given even our sort of, ardent efforts to collect that information, because for our purposes and planning ahead, we want that information as soon as possible. But I think it's going to be at least another month. And then the process will likely be the process we followed in the past, which is best practice. Those financials come to the finance committee, we review them, and then they get shared. When they are finalized, they'll be shared with full membership as a part of our finance reporting. So Caroline, does that sound right to you?
Yeah, it does. I'm not quite sure why. I mean, but I don't know why that particular item is so significant, but it carries significance apparently to the board strongly. So I'm not sure why, but it does.
Speaking for myself on that, I'll say because there was such concern over not having a conference and then having one, that pinned a lot of anticipation and anxiety about whether this one would be successful. So telling the good story to the full membership that we've shared through the numbers, the sort of preliminary numbers, it looks like a good story. Sharing that with the full membership will be, I think, very appreciated by the membership as a whole, and also the exciting news about another conference. So to your point about people like to get together in person, and this is the big sort of, marquee event for SPJ these days. So there's a lot riding on it, and it'll be a good story to tell. We don't want to share, to your question, Jennifer, about what was in the spreadsheet. We don't want to share confusing numbers that are only half baked, which is what these are. We're sharing them with the board because we want you to know that we will be in the black. And that's the first part of the good story. But we would like to have a more complete story before we share it with the full membership as a part of a sort of final tally.
Yeah, of course, we would like to have had all the numbers finalized. And also, I think that there's always this inherent like PTSD related to conference finances. I'm happy to say that because it's the truth, right? So yeah, I think it makes us all a little more cautious and inquisitive and curious. So that's good. What else do we have here? I'm looking at some of the, looking at some of the comments is what I'm reacting to. Agree is tied to the anxiety of not having an in-person events in the future. Yeah, so we want to keep the pedal down and have in-person events.
I see.
Manage them properly and make money off of them. Like,
right.
That big swell of how everyone feels. It's fair, it's like a fair national assessment of like there was a weird time period where a lot of things were up in the air. I feel like we're stable, but it's great to have the questions and the dialogue. So
right. No, that's very helpful to me to hear why it's such a concern specifically. I mean, it's just it's good to hear the context. It really is helpful, and I appreciate it.
Yeah. Okay. Again, any other comments, by all means, please speak up. But going once, going twice, good to now vote on the 2026 budget because we have a motion from Jennifer and a second from Patty on the floor on the table here. So I will say all in favor of the 2026 budget, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Is there anybody opposed? Okay.
Before we move on, I just want to make one more comment. It doesn't affect the vote. It's just a reminder. We were very clear about this last year. I don't think I articulated it in my report this year. So I just want to remind everyone that this is the budget and we approve it now. This is the budget as best as we understand it based on current financial circumstances. These numbers may be revised over the course of the year as new information comes in. Best case scenario, we get some big grants, we get some new financial opportunities. then it will change. On the flip side, if something happens that isn't great, that will also affect the budget. And because the Finance Committee is meeting monthly, we will get those updates. We'll make sure that they are shared very timely with the board and with the full membership. Just want to make sure everyone's clear on that, that budgets can change. What we are approving today is the budget as it looks today.
Great context. So we were like half cocked on the vote, but it seemed like we had a unanimous yay. Everybody approved and nobody opposed. So I will say motion carries. We have a 2026 budget. Right? Good.
Thank you all so much. Thank
Good
you all so
work.
much. Yep.
Great discussion, great preparation. Appreciate all the work that goes into it. And as Sarah said, we'll keep you posted if anything updates or revolves. Which then gets me to the sixth bullet on the agenda, as I rushed to before, but discussion and vote on a Greater Houston Pro chapter. Now, the petition is essentially there's a Houston Pro chapter. They want to make it a Greater Houston Pro chapter to include a larger footprint, essentially. And there's a document inside the board packet there that explains, a reasoning and the principles that they put into their proposal. And so if you've had time to review it, it's a couple pages, and it essentially says the members of the Houston Pro will become part of the Greater Houston Pro, and it's really about widening the scope and depth of the chapter, and being open and welcome to regions outside of that direct Houston city limit. I believe Ruth is on the call. I think she'd be the most qualified to share any notes and details if the board is okay with hearing any commentary from Ruth about that before we actually vote on it. It seems like a straightforward petition to adjust the name and the purpose of the chapter, but which I'm sure we'll be okay with. Obviously, that's outside of a vote, but I'll open the vote first, and then we can have a discussion, or should we hear from Ruth first, then open the vote and the discussion of the board? What's the proper, I don't even know in this case, because Ruth's voice matters in this case, because she's the one that put it all together. So
I think we
I have to
bring
make
it to the floor first. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So I need a motion to, what is this? I want to say this properly here. To have, I guess make a motion to create the Greater Houston Pro chapter. The petition is such that it widens the Houston Pro chapter as is.
Yeah, I grew up in Houston, so I will support that motion, and definitely support the motion to extend and create the Houston Pro chapter.
I'll second that.
So it's a motion from Ernest. And was that a second by Jennifer?
Nicole.
Nicole, sorry,
Oh.
sorry. And discussion. It seems like Ernest is in favor of it, so that's cool.
Yeah, I'm based in
I'd love
Philly
to-
now, but I grew up in Houston, so I'm
Yeah.
just excited to know that exists. So I'm a big fan of it.
I'd love to hear from Ruth, but I also support this. I think it's great.
Yeah.
Is
Yeah,
that
yeah,
an
you-
invitation for me to make some comments? I just want to thank you for entertaining the petition. And what we're doing, just to be clear though, when this chapter is created, it's going to be created as a new chapter. That's why we went through this whole process. And we'll be disbanding the Houston chapter. So, it's not really exactly a switch over. It will be a new thing started. We've really struggled over the last few years, and sitting down and thinking about it and kind of following the model of national and setting the priorities and that sort of thing. We said we live in this humongous, you can see the list of the members in the packet in the petition, and less than half are in the city of Houston, and it's very diverse. So it's pretty much self-explanatory. I'm happy to answer any questions, but I just wanted to clarify that. And we're really excited because we really struggled through the pandemic. I mentioned our current membership is 19. I think it was as low as 13. That was during the days of the Impexium meltdown. But, so we're really excited about moving forward.
Great. Yeah, we don't say that word impexium on here anymore. So, but we
Great
appreciate.
job, Ruth. Yeah.
Yeah, I like the creativity and the logistical, like making it all happen, pulling it together, seeing there's an issue, and
Mhm.
a way to kind of open the walls of that a bit. And Yeah, I think it's something we definitely would support. At least I do, but the board will vote. Is there any other commentary on this before we actually vote? Okay.
Can I just say I'm really grateful to Ruth. You've put on so much work on so many levels, and it's really, I've seen how much work you're putting in, and I'm very grateful.
Thank you. I want to also, though, give kudos to Sandy West, the current Houston Pro Chapter president is here as well. And I want to give kudos to her and our board also. So, but thank you.
Great. And I'll be in Houston in March for the World Baseball Classic. So let's do some sort of event down there for baseball journalism at the Houston and the Greater Houston Pro Chapter. So yes, thank you, Ruth. So there was a motion, there was a second, and now do I have all in favor for supporting this change?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Motion passes unanimously. There's now a Greater Houston Pro Chapter. So great. Now, the second discussion item on here is the appointment of a new regional coordinator for Region 1. So, and Michelle is going to talk about that as she's giving up her seat in that case. But I do need a motion to appoint Michelle. The name again? It is literally escaping me all of a sudden.
Denise Clay Murray.
What is it?
Denise Clay Murray.
Yeah, Denise Clay Murray. So I need a motion to approve Denise Clay Marie as regional coordinator for Region 1 in the Northeast.
I'll make the motion, but I'd like to hear a little bit more about this person before we.
Yeah, we were going to discuss after the motion and the second.
I'll second that.
So there was a Jennifer motion, second by Nicole. Now discussion, but yes, please. Really, the discussion would start with Michelle here to give us an update. Tell us where she's at, what she's doing now in SPJ World.
Yeah, and sorry if my audio is low. I'm trying to speak in.
Yeah, you're all right.
Okay. So Denise is the current president of the Keystone chapter, so Pennsylvania, and she has been president of NABJ Philly a couple of times. She and I have gotten to know one another extensively throughout my regional coordinatorship, I guess is what you would call it. Saw her at NABJ's convention this year. She was also at SPJ's national conference this year. I think what's really cool is I met her husband at NABJ. He is also a journalist. So they are a house of journalists, both published authors. I made a point to go see her because at NABJ because she was doing an author showcase of her book. She had just written a book. And so she was presenting. But she initially was not interested. But after some convincing, as well as Jane, some of you guys know Jane. So myself and Jane, I think, got her to a place where she's now like, well, you know what? I'm set to host Region 1's conference in 2027. I may as well get to know what it means to be a regional coordinator. So
everybody always says no when their first ask.
It's a lot of work, but not bad. I mean, I actually am kind of sad. I have grown to love Region 1 and all the people involved. So I feel like people still can't get rid of me. But I do need to, now with me having a new job coming in the next year, I need to let some things go.
Yeah, totally get it. So any other discussion or notes from the board about the appointment of Denise? Okay.
I put it in the chat, but Denise was part of the Future Leaders Academy. So just another point is in why that programming is super valuable to SPJ's long-term health. And Denise is wonderful.
Great.
Yes, and I will also share. So Denise was a previous president of the Philadelphia Association of Black Journalists. I am currently the president of the Philadelphia Association of Black Journalists. And so I've known her for quite some time. And me and her were both in the Leadership Academy together a couple of years ago. And to see us both serve in leadership capacities for SPJ in some way, and we both are based in Philadelphia, is a testament to why that program is really essential. And I really hope that we'll get in a place of funding where we can invest in it, because it is a great leadership pipeline, as we can see. And I think she'll really be good for the role. And I'm happy that she's interested in doing it. I know she's very active in work. I actually seen her recently at a PMJ event actually. But she's doing some really good work, and I'm happy that she actually did it because I think she's been wanting to turn down. So I think whatever the sales pitch was for her to be involved, it must have been for a worthy cause. So yeah,
Well, they
I
threatened.
think should be good for it.
That's awesome. More fantastic endorsements. I can't wait to connect with Denise. Is she on the call? That's a great question, Laura. No, I don't think so.
Not. I don't think so.
It's fine. We'll talk about her behind her back. It's all positive. So we had a motion and we had a second. Are we all in favor of Denise becoming the new Region 1 coordinator?
Aye.
Aye. Any
I
opposed? Nope. Okay, fantastic. Well, let's Michelle, you can communicate that with Denise, and then I'll touch base with her to check in.
Text her
And
now.
I think if we can, that might be a nice thing to put out, a little note about her from SPJ, and share something nationally that one of our biggest regions has a update in leadership, and it raise her profile a bit. So maybe we could do something about that. Which leads us to our Fearless Leaders report, Caroline Hendry, with some, I don't know what further updates you want to give after you've spoken a lot about a lot of great things already, but, by all means, dive in. I know you have some other fun stuff to share, I'm sure.
Well, I'll just say that I know we're almost at time here at 5, so I probably should try to be brief.
Yeah, sure, sort of. Whatever you think is best, right?
Well, so I'll just commend people to the written reports. One is on membership, and Chris had already talked about that. We're certainly striving to be, inform everybody on a regular basis on where we stand on membership. I was telling the finance committee yesterday, I really hope that we can build on the positive direction that we're going on that. Chris has been very open at publicly saying we want to get 5,000 members again. I agree with that. I think it's going to take a whole variety of strategies to get us there, but I am, committed to it. So, I think we really will make it a focus this year. Especially, as we mentioned, we do have a much more reliable member platform. So there's no hesitation now in doing a big push to try to bring in members. We don't feel like, oh, well, they're going to have problems if they try to join or renew. Hopefully not. I mean, that's a much smoother process. So definitely commend the membership report to you all. My report, I tried to, hit on a few major things that we're working on just now. We had only met last month, as you know. Really excited about the event planning that we're doing. A number of times folks have mentioned on this call the importance of the leadership institute that folks had attended. We really want to bring that back. We're working on a slightly, new version of it or revamped version of it, but we're committed to it. I'm grateful that last week the foundation approved the 2026 budget, and there's money in the budget for the leadership event. So we're very excited about that. I know folks that's been a goal to bring that back, and we want to do that. We've already talked about the conference. I have a hotel contract that was just sent to me today, and I'm looking at it right now. We hope to get that signed. We actually have until the Monday to sign it, very short turnaround, but feeling good about it. As we mentioned, Columbus. So, we're very excited about the awards program on the new platform. We're excited about the potential to maybe extend it beyond national awards to the chapters. We feel like that is of chapters and to support them better. We are very excited about the Code of Ethics review. We think that, the timing is amazing in the centennial, and we really want to support that. And I really would commend to you the section about our press freedom advocacy work. That is just, top of mind for us. And take a look at all the media mentions that we got. And again, what a team effort it is to get this. I tried to stress that in my report to you all, that what makes me feel optimistic about us being able to overcome our structural challenges is the teamwork I'm seeing and the great spirit of collaboration that I'm seeing. And you look at our media mentions and top outlets. This was not one person getting this. This was for example, the ethics committee really jumping in and saying, we want to make a statement about the media offenders page, and let's go for that. And working with Chris and the team on lots of other kinds of statements. So yeah, I think it's really encouraging. And I'll just mention, when we're talking about press freedom and that priority that we have on it, we just want to make sure that in the leadership offering, the event that we have, we really want to incorporate training on being strong press freedom advocates, right? We think that leadership in SPJ means being a strong advocate for press freedom and journalist rights. So we thought that can be part of the training. So those are a few points that I wanted to make, and I'm very open to questions or comments.
No, I do think that, to echo the Leadership Institute commentary, there's really great conversations like you said that we've been having, and it'll be an evolved approach. Press freedom, SPJ leadership, potentially other partners in the mix as we figure that piece of it out. So I'm excited about what that evolutionary piece looks like. I've said it before. I'm a product of it. Other people on this call are a product of it, and it matters, and it's gonna be great. We will figure out a way. I won't end my tenure and my 1 year in this role without getting that thing off the ground. If it's the only thing that we do, which it won't be, because everyone's already kicking ass, making a lot of things happen. But no, appreciate the update. There's a lot of great stuff there. There's definitely some great chatter right now in the chat thread as well, about the national conference and dates and locations and times and all. Yeah, people are excited. That's really, really great. So Ohio, love it. Yes, Patty. There's no better advocate for Ohio than the Ohio Journalist of the Year, Patty Newberry. So, any questions, comments for Caroline? But great stuff. Okay.
Oh, I'll clarify something. I'm seeing this chat. So
Yeah.
The whole thing about the group rate, I tried really hard to get, just to clarify, $250 all in. And that means all these fees they love to add on, the taxes and the fees and all that. So I tried really hard. And to get that in Ohio, you have to get them to agree to like a rate of, like $212 a night. And I was really trying for that. Ultimately, they kept, backing out, like, oh no, we don't have the dates anymore. So, and we weren't able to get that. But another piece of this contract, so, all in, it should be about $259. We got close. It's a lot better than $335, which was last year. So, or this year rather. So it's better. Let's be real. It's expensive to travel these days. And, but I'll also say that this hotel is very reasonable on the food and beverage minimum. Many of them were trying to, require a much higher one. This is really quite modest. So at a time when, I know, I'd asked before, like, tell me why everybody's so fixated on the conference. Well, I understand, and you really actually, helped me understand even better today. But, I don't want us to commit to expenditures that we might not be able to meet. So it's very important to me to not overcommit. And I feel like with this arrangement, we will be protecting ourselves. So, and our members, that's the whole thing. We wanted a good group rate for our members. And we also wanted a good food and beverage minimum, so we're not exposing the organization to undue, losses or, difficulties meeting the minimums, right?
Really great work.
Oh, thanks.
Love it. Looking forward to obviously like the tons of conversation and planning and great things ahead with this. So we'll be very transparent and we'll have members involved. There'll be committee work. There'll be, programming folks. We're excited about all of that, but get your save the date now, October 1st to 4th, Columbus. We'll also, see what we could do with integrating with Ohio State and some of their faculty. And there's all those pieces of it are still yet to come, but that's the fun part, honestly. So great stuff, Caroline. Next on the agenda is Adam. And, so my goal is every one of these national board meetings, and it's to not draw these on longer than they need to be, but I would like a committee chair each time to talk about the great work that's going on in their committee. Last week, I kind of set that precedent, or last meeting, sorry, was the Dan and Chris from the ethics committee. The purpose was they really wanted the board approval on the ethics code potential revisions, just looking at it and such. And I said, you know what? It was a great discussion. It was quick. It was to the point. Every meeting, at least while I'm president, I'd like to have a committee chair talk about the great stuff going on in a committee. Now, I've been talking about programming from a national perspective. I've been talking about amplifying the local chapters and what they're doing and using that for national and giving national marketing support behind it, so on and so forth. And if you all know Adam, he has been coming up with incredible programming ideas for years. And so I said, well, let's just make them national programs, and all of his SPJ New England programs are all national anyway. Half the time people aren't from Boston and they got incredible jobs and really great things to say. And so we're taking that model and making it bigger and better and stronger and putting, national behind it. And we've already started. There's been several Zooms and national digital type things that Adam has led. And there's much more to come from these skill fests to what he's going to help with on the national conference. And but it's your floor, Adam. I just wanted you to give a quick update on the work that you're doing. And I appreciate all that hustle and the 11 p.m. phone calls and the text messages in the middle of the night and the oddball hours that you sleep and live by. But yeah, so go for it.
I made it here today, which is great. So,
Yeah.
thank you all for having me. Chris, thank you for letting me lead this committee. I'm really excited. We've got about 10 people on the committee. We haven't had our first meeting yet. A bunch of them were from the spreadsheet from people who signed up, so I haven't spoken with everybody, but Nicole and Patty are on the committee as well. I've had great conversations. They both had some really incredible ideas. So I'm really excited to have that first meeting and sort of get things kicked off the ground. But as you mentioned, we did start with some Zoom events early in the year. Our goal is to have one a month, until throughout to into the fall. That's probably going to be pretty ambitious, but I'm excited. Our first in late October, we had Emily Glazer from the Wall Street Journal, who Chris interviewed. She won a Pulitzer Prize this year for covering Elon Musk. We had Peter Baker from the New York Times, an incredible columnist. He's on Frontline quite a bit as well. He's also, we discovered he's a dedicated SPJ member, or has been. So we're really excited. I was really, really excited to learn that. We had Sarah Beth Berman from the American Journalism Project, and we had the president from the Knight Foundation. Caroline interviewed both of them. So we've been off to a very good start. Patty and I have talked about a really good Zoom guest for January for the first of the year. I got to talk to Patty about where that is. I'm not exactly sure. It's tough to get in touch with people right now during the holidays, but we've got some really, really great plans. In addition to the Zoom events, we've also got an in-person event we're hoping to do. We've been talking, Chris and I met with Project Censored, the great folks there who are also really dedicated SPJ members. And they operate out of the Park Center for Independent Media at Ithaca College. And they do the Izzy Awards, the I.F. Stone Awards, in Wednesday, April 22nd. So they want to partner with us to do an event around the Izzy Awards on April 21st and 22nd. So it wouldn't be like anything nearly the size of like a conference or anything like that, but we would have some panels there. We would hopefully get a keynote. It wouldn't cost SPJ National anything. They're giving us the space for free. I'm hoping the Region 1 fund might kick in some money for travel expenses for a keynote to like reimburse um, uh, uh, keynote speaker, and I know the project censored has also said they might be able to help out with that as well. So I have reached out to one person who I think would be a great keynote. They haven't gotten back to me yet, but I think this will be great. It'll also be a free event for SPJ members to attend. So we're still working out all the details on that. We're still very early in the process. Another great thing we've been working
Can I
on is
interrupt?
something
I'm sorry. Where is that? Where's
at
that?
Ithaca College in upstate New York, the Park Center for Independent Media. Sorry if I if I missed that. But we're also working on something called Skills Fest, which Claire Regan coined the phrase for, which is really good. It would be 2 days of online training, virtual training. We're pretty ambitious with the number. We're hoping to do somewhere between 15 and 20. I don't know if that's going to be too ambitious or not. But we've gotten Muck Rock, Michael Morrissey from Muck Rock, who's also chairing the FOIA committee, has agreed to do one. The New England First Amendment Coalition has signed up for one. Claire Regan signed up to do a bunch of trainings. Nicole. So I think that'll be really, really great. That's going to be in March. So we're still, like I said, we're still working the details for some of these out, but I think it's going to be really awesome. It'll be really great programming for people. I'm excited to see what other ideas we have from the rest of the committee when we meet. And also, I'm hoping there were 5 chapters that got foundation grants this year. I'm hoping if those chapters need any help with the programs they're doing, I'm hoping we might be able to help them out in some way if they need it. So we want to make sure that's a success. So that's it for now, I guess. If anybody has any questions, I'm happy to answer.
Good stuff. I think just that's the type of groundwork that is being laid for 2026. And I've told Adam several times, A, thank you, but B, calendar it. Give us some tell us dates, put it all in one document that we can promote the hell out of, and then that'll help Nadia, and the social graphics and anything Jennifer can help with. There's a lot of pieces there that I just think about marketing and promotion constantly. So, but we got it. We got things going on. It's going to be a busy year. You're right. That's it for now, even though there's like 25 things you mentioned. So that's fantastic. Which the 25 things, a couple things a month. That's how you kind of look at it, right? So
Yeah, I'm excited. It's going to be a great year. So, if any of you guys have any trainings you want to do or might be interested, let me know. Like I said, we're trying to fill up a schedule that we've got. We've got plenty of open slots. So I'm looking forward to working with all of you.
yeah,
I love the Skill Fest idea. You said March. Do you know what date in March? I would
Yeah.
wait for that to like conflict with somebody's regional conference.
Right. That is something I've been a little concerned with. I believe it's the 26th and 27th, but I need to go back and double check that. But I'm pretty sure that's the dates that we're.
Because generally, regional conferences are either that last week of March or the 2 or 3 weekends in April.
Yeah, I'm hoping since it's online, it might complement some of them. I'm not really sure. So we'll have to look in on that.
cool. Any other comments for Adam? And obviously he'll keep us updated and we'll funnel his ideas and the things that come to fruition through, the SPJ newsletter and Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, whatever. We'll make sure it's out there. So stay tuned.
I think we can really use this for pushing for membership. In Region 2, we've been trying to get some people up in the Baltimore area. We just have to, if we offer them something, I think it will really help.
Yeah.
Banner and some of those folks. So that would be great.
It's true. I mean, yeah, I guess it's such a correlation of like, why do we do this? Keep the members we have, get new members, right? That's what it's all about. So good stuff. Anything else for Adam? All right, that brings us to the public comment period. Do we have any public comments being made or folks that would like to speak? Okay. 3, 2, 1. Good. No, that's a solid 6 or 7 seconds there. 6 or 7. I hate that I just did that.
You just did.
Yeah, I have 3 little kids. Old, new business. I wouldn't say I have any old or new business. I forgot to mention yeah, it's true. That was a dad thing. I forgot to mention in my report, I actually sent an email individually, personally to every almost every, maybe I missed some, every board member of an SPJ college or pro chapter in the last 3 weeks. Personally saying, hey, here's the stuff that we're working on. We're here for you. If there's something that you need, please let us know how we can help and support. And just let me know what you're thinking, what you're feeling. Um, Largely positive commentary back, right? If the people, probably more than half didn't write back at all. Some people said, wow, that's cool. Just happy to hear from you. And then the other said, we'll let you know when we have our events coming up. There's a couple of advocacy specific questions. There's a couple, I guess, on the college front, which as a former college chapter advisor, I could see this. They're like, yeah, we don't know what the heck to do with fundraising or chapter events. And so, like, I think there's the constant reminder to push resources out to the chapters about how to help them sustain. And that could be membership, that could be programming, that could be finances. Like that, some of them don't know what they're doing. And I mean that in the most respectful way, especially the college ones where the advisors are kind of like absent-minded and don't care, but the students want to do something and they don't know. So it was just a good reminder of like, we gotta, in some cases, hold their hands, and that's a good way, or teach them. They just want some guidance. So I expect some more people to start writing in, but yeah, listen, I've said it all along. We are as strong as our chapters, and they were very happy to hear that my support of them through our national organization is real, and we will continue to support the chapter. So not old or new business, but an update that's worthy of your time in this meeting. Any other old or new business? Okay. And do I have a motion to adjourn the meeting?
Motion.
The second.
A second.
So that was Nicole and Stephanie. Would you like to discuss the adjournment? No. It's good. All in favor of ending the meeting, 5:20 p.m. Eastern Time. That's it. Approved. And most importantly, happy holidays. Appreciate all of you. Happy New Year. We'll be in touch with so many great things to come, but I'm so happy about what we've done, even this whole year leading up to this moment, and more excited even so for 2026. And it's because of all of you. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much, everybody.
Bye, y'all.
Thank you.